Appreciate you guys joining me today. I want to try to do this at the close of every series that we do. I think it's so important because sometimes information can be given and it can be given so fast that you don't have time to really get an understanding of it. So, just want to make sure that we are all on the same page as we do our best to try to um, grow together in this journey. Like what that's what we're trying to do is grow together in this journey. We're still trying to set up to make sure everybody can see and hear and all of that stuff. So I just want to make sure that we are all good with everything. Um, that we are all good, and I think we are. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah.
We can hear you.
Oh, good deal. Good. 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 So listen, we have been literally talking for the last few weeks about you first and the importance of taking care of you as an individual before you take care of anything else. You guys, especially you, Denise and Benny, you guys have helped me tremendously in your commenting and just your questions and stuff like that. So, like I said, I really want to make sure that everybody we're on the same page. One of the things that I have encountered, I am so used to pouring into people and pouring and pouring and pouring. And most of the time, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. But then there are times where I feel like I'm empty and I have nothing else to pour. And I think that we talked about that some last week when we were talking about you have to make sure your cup is filled first before you try to pour into anybody else. So let me just stop talking for a minute. And, for those of you that are watching Facebook Live, you can go, there's a link that you can, and you can be a part of this conversation as well. Those of you that are, wanting to be a part of this, there's a Zoom link. All you got to do is SFC define. It should be a poster with the link and everything on it. We would love to have you join this discussion as well. But Denise and Benny, and those of you that are here on the Zoom, what are your thoughts? What have you picked up on, or what have you learned as it relates to this topic or theme? You first. And just make sure you take yourself off mute so that we can hear you and we can interact that way as well. Anybody? What are you thinking?
One of the things that I have truly learned from this is that your mind plays a very strong um, part of every decision that you make.
Absolutely.
And that every choice that you make is going to be a choice that you decide as to what it's going to be. Whether it be good or whether it be bad, it will be your choice. Because I always say that every morning when I wake up, what how would I want to choose my day?
Absolutely.
And what I have learned throughout this whole um, the presentation that you've been putting on, and every day, I mean every Sunday at 5 o'clock, is you is your own worst enemy, or it can be you can be your own joy, all at the same time,
Absolutely.
depending upon how you set your mind to be. And I think by having that information in my mind constantly give me an opportunity to change a lot of things in my life, whether it be with my husband, whether it be with my daughters, my babies, my co-workers, everybody I interact with, my friends. I have chose to make a decision about how I'm going to deal with them, or how I'm going to be able to react upon them. So having that information on I would say on a week basis, because we meet every Sunday, is truly helpful. Because your every day is always busy. You don't
Absolutely.
really have time to really be thinking about things because you're busy doing work, you're busy doing your things at home, you're busy preparing yourself for the next day. Whatever the case is, you really don't have time to think. Well, I know I really didn't have time to think, but now I'm consciously thinking about it. and I'm constantly making the choices that I want to choose in my life, depending upon my surroundings. I know you guys don't know who I am, but I'm one of these type of people who have been born to take care of people. And people may consider it being somebody in control of everything. And I have that kind of spirit because I want to make things happen. So, but now I feel like having been with you, Corey, it has given me an opportunity to say, they're going to be okay if I don't jump in. They're going to be okay. Let them make their choice, and then I can step back.
Absolutely.
And I didn't think I could do it. I really didn't think that I could do it. And so my daughters actually see the difference in me. When they come to me, I say, that's your choice. Y'all make that choice. I don't want to be I want to be a part in it of hearing it. I want to be a part in it of making sure they're going down the right path, but I don't want to make that choice for them anymore.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. I mean, you can't again pour into other people if you yourself are empty. You said a couple of key things about your mindset being the first thing. Everybody wants things to change on the outside. They want to change the people that they talk to. They want to change their finances. They want to change their health. They want to do all of that stuff starts with your mindset. Nothing changes on the outside until it changes on the inside. And I don't think that there are enough people that realize that nothing outside of you will ever change if you're not willing to change the way that you think, the way that you perceive, the way that you process situations and people. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Neville Goddard that said, nothing is evil or good, but it's thinking that makes it so, which means that, what's good to you could be bad to somebody else. It's just merely about our perception and how we process. So thank you for that, Denise. Thank you. Okay. Benny, anybody else have any thing to add to that? Just how this whole series have helped or hurt or whatever.
I guess so. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Ben.
I guess the perspective that I have really came from this series on first is just the little things that I guess we go through to make sure that we stay both mentally and physically and emotionally aware of where we are so that we can be a help to other people, because sometimes we can let those things get out of control, and that's when it becomes unhealthy, because we are trying to do everything for everyone, and then the one that find ourselves, with the high blood pressure and having the anxiety spells and things like that. So I said all that to kind of say, like, one of the things that this series has kind of made me do, because kind of like Lisa's saying, she is kind of like, I guess, purpose to be that helper.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of find that I'm finding that I'm that person that I'm in an 80,000 people stadium and somebody's going to come to me.
Yeah.
Even if I'm going to
yeah.
People are going to come to me to ask me the question. 5 minutes later, it's going to go from a question to their life story, and then the boo-hooing, and then I find myself in a place of that. And that used to irritate me, but then someone was saying, don't run from that, because that could, go, which I've since found out I do have a spiritual gift of encouragement. So
absolutely.
I guess that's where that kind of I'm not okay, thanks God.
Yeah.
But anyway, but with that, I find myself, I have to be careful, because I can get in periods where I just burn out and then just isolate. And that's really not healthy, and that doesn't feel well, I can tell you.
Yeah.
So therefore, one of the things on a daily basis I try to do is I take time for me first before going to work, or if I'm not physically going to work, that time for my prayer, that time for my worship, that time for my meditation, that time for my affirmations, to make sure I have me be together, and I have my tools to go out to help. And along with that, on a larger level, it goes back to some teaching that I received from my pastor one time. He was talking about everyone should have like a balance of the two D's, as in dogs, the letter D, in your life, that you have to have balance. When you're going about your day, you should have that discipler person, that person that feeds into you, that person that gives you those spiritual insight, that person you can go to you when you do get there to kind of stir you, as you have the disciple of people who you pour into. So having that balance. So yeah, you do those things that help you prepare, like the meditation and the affirmations, but also just that structure having in your life. You have people that you can go to that will be able to pour into you in those times and keep you balanced, so that you can be that disciple to speak to other people.
Right. Thank you. But yeah, I think that I don't think that we give ourselves enough time to, first of all, learn ourselves. We don't give ourselves enough time to really get to know anything about balance. Most of us, especially in the Black community, most of us have been taught how to just deal with stuff. We've been taught how to just handle it. You know, breaking down or feeling whatever is not an option. You just bite your bottom lip and you handle it. And that's what we've been taught. That's what we've been taught, to how to handle life and the things that life comes to us with. But I think that, Benny, you said that you take time in the morning to worship and to meditate and to affirm different things. And I think that just for that few minutes every day, in the beginning of the day, and even periodically throughout the day, I think that that is what creates the balance that we need to put ourselves first. When you get brave enough or courageous or bold enough to say, don't mess with me for the next 15 minutes. Don't bother me for the next 10 minutes. I got to have some me time. I think that once you go within yourself, create that balance, create that importance, create those affirmations that help you thrive. When you come out of that 10 or 15 minutes, you have something to offer somebody. You have a chance to weigh what's important. Is it important for me to keep an attitude? Is it important for me to let it go? Is it important for me to sit with a negative disposition all day? Or do I want to make this the best day? Like Denise said, she was like, I figured out how to claim my day. Every day I wake up and I'm like, this is the day that I am going to be my best version of me. This is the day that I declare that I am going to go throughout the day without any fear, without any worry. And I don't think that we take the time to do that enough. And you can't be authentic to anybody else until you are at first authentic with yourself. Okay. And I was looking at TikTok earlier today, and there was this little guy on there, and he was like, you've got to learn how to appreciate your dark place. And it took me for a loop for a moment, but after listening a couple of times, I think I processed what he was saying. It's hard to be positive all the time. When we're living in the world like we're living in, it's hard to be positive 100% of every single day. But when you can learn how to make good out of your dark places and look at it as a tool to help you grow, to help you be groomed for your next season or your next moment, then I think even on those dark days, you find yourself and you have that ability to grow in the dark. Some plants grow best in the dark. You got some of those. And I think that when we start realizing and learning how to appreciate, and before you can get to that, you've got to know who you are. You've got to know yourself, because anything that upsets the flow of your day will take you completely out of sync or out of whack. And I think it's just so important that we find ourselves in a place where we can continue to nurture and develop who we are. What else? Anybody else? Please let me know your thoughts. This is what this was for. It was for allowing us to figure out together what's best served us during this series of You First. Who else? We got some people on Facebook. I don't know if you guys can see what they're commenting. Hey, Jody, thank you. Do you give yourself enough time to learn yourself? Yeah, and that is so key. We have to know who we are. We have to know who we are. So many people are living their lives based off of what or who people have told them they are. You know, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine the other day, and you know, I made that very comment. I said, so many people are living based off of other people's thoughts and opinions about them that we fail to maximize our life, our time, our purpose. And until you can do that, I'm a firm believer, until you can do that, you're missing out on the true essence of what life really is. Okay. Anybody else? I'm doing a lot of talking. I need y'all to talk. What are your thoughts?
I don't want to be the only one talking, but I do want to add this in that it's so important that the changes and the transmission, what's the word I'm looking for?
Formation.
Transformation, yeah, transformation that is going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight, not even in a week, not even because for me, that was my whole life. That's a whole pattern. That took a lot of years to build up. So it's not going to go away. So I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm going to forget because I'm an analytical person and my mind never stops.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly running, even when I'm asleep. My mind is constantly running. So it's just so hard to stop. And so I just found myself, just want to put that out there for people who may be listening, that this is not a thing that's going to happen overnight. The information that is given is awesome. However, it's your mind, your body, your soul, and everything have to connect. And then you have to be willing to give in to those bad things or those old ways that you used to do, and try to bring new ways in every month, every day. You know, it's just like anything that you do, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to do different things in your life, it's a pattern, it's a plan, it's a situation that you have to really be conscious to and aware, and just continue to bring it in your life in order to make it work for you.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be some ups and downs. It's going to be some ups and downs. And, I don't beat myself up for when I fall short of what I'm trying to accomplish. I just get up another day because it's a whole new day to begin your plan back over again. But you have to continue to stick with it. I just want to.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Jody says, she's on the Facebook, it says it's important to be patient with yourself also during those dark times. Give yourself some grace. Absolutely. And that, again, is a problem that so many of us have, is patience with ourselves. And you can't be patient with anybody else if you don't know how to be patient with yourself. That's number one. You said something a few minutes ago, and I know we touched on it in one Sunday afternoon talking about this series, Denise. You said that it took a lifetime to build up these habits of controlling, these habits of making sure everybody else is good. And, it's hard to break habits. It's easy to start shifting your mindset. And I think that that's what we need to understand. Like, you can literally make up in your mind that you are going to change. Now, the actual process of change may take some time. But again, the hardest part is getting it here. Because once you get it here, the only thing that you have working against you is time. And staying consistent and committed to your change. We have to learn how to first initiate the change that we want to see in our minds. There's I see the video or the commercial all the time. I can't think of what Noom, I think it is. It's about a weight loss thing. And they talk about the psychological aspect of overeating or the psychological piece, you know, their whole premise is it stands on the foundation of you not backing away from the table or you not changing. We've got to go. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm sure in most of our families, we were raised in if you put it on your plate, you got to clean your plate. And you don't get up from the table until you can be about to pop. But when you have that growing up in you, it carries into your adulthood. So on that commercial, it talks about how we have to go through that psychological piece, and all they're doing is literally trying to change your way of thinking about food. And once that happens, the weight loss comes automatically. And it is that simple. If you want to see a change on the outside, it has to be seen first on the inside. There's a book. Oh my God, I can't think of who it was. I've been reading, but it says sometimes you have to fake it until you make it. And that simply means that you convince yourself that it's already happened before it actually happens and stuff. So again, I'm talking, yeah, Jody says, yes, that's the Noom commercial. Thanks. What else? Anybody else? Benny?
Yeah, I kind of like these. I don't want to keep talking. I'm trying to pause it. but thank you. So she hit on something that really has revolutionized, I guess, my way of living. I'll put it that way. In the last even couple of months, I would say.
Okay.
And that was when she hit on forgiving myself in the moment for like the bad habits that I had. But like you said, Corey, replacing it immediately with a new precept. But I had to kind of correct because I spent a lot of time on gosh, why didn't I do this earlier? I knew that. I should have done that. Why didn't I do? And so I'll spend like 10 minutes there and I'll forget, okay, I got a new principle now to apply. So that was kind of a time waster. Going back now to why I said it's so key to me now, my morning time is filled with these things of the affirmations and the meditation so that early on in my day, I can go ahead and get those principles and concepts there now so that when the unhealthy thought comes, I can immediately squash it. When I get that, when I log on to work and I see that first email and I want to send, I can pause and be like, okay, well, I've been here before. She's a great person. Let me, So all of those principles that you all talked about kind of led up perfectly. Like, okay, that's been my life the last couple of months of the changes that have really been revolutionary to the way I live. Taking that time to forgive myself. And like you said, Corey, you can't implement those things immediately. You know, the process will take time, but you can already see like changes and like, oh my God, I went to that meeting that normally I would go to, already amped up, already know who I'm gonna get, who I'm to like, coming out of it like, wow, that was easy. You know, so yeah.
You know, one this may sound a little I don't want to for me, and I'll talk about, for me, it gets to the place where once you start evolving and once you see yourself changing and transforming and realizing that you have the power. Florence Shen says you can control anything in this world, any situation, if you first learn how to control yourself. So what happens for me is, to the point that Benny was making about the example of going into a meeting, for me, I start feeling sorry for people. Like, I start feeling like, wow, that's, you are this beautiful, beautiful day, and you're sitting up with attitude, you're hateful acting, you're nasty. And how much of this beautiful day are you going to waste looking at the negative as opposed to appreciating the positive? Because I don't care how bad your day is, there is always a rose that will grow through cement. It will find a way. There's a crack somewhere that the sun will get to it, the rain will get to it, and a flower will bloom even in the midst of a day that's filled with concrete. You just have to look for it. If you're on the wrong street and you don't see it, then you turn the block and you go find another street. But there's always a bright spot in every day. And so I start feeling sorry for people who are allowing life to slip by them because they can only see the glass half empty instead of it being half full. So yeah, Catherine says, the hardest part for me is being patient with myself and giving myself grace through the darkest parts of my life. There are days and times where I don't feel like I am deserving of giving myself patience or grace. And I think we all have those days. I think we all have those moments in the day where we feel like we've taken 10 steps back when we thought we were taking 15 forward, and we're only left at the end of the day with the forward motion of 5 steps. Well, Lou, you have to learn how to appreciate those 5 steps, because yesterday you were 5 steps behind. So even though you planned for 15 steps and it ended up 10 being taken away, you can still appreciate the 5 that you have. And again, everything is about our perception. Are you going to cry and be angry and beat yourself up over the 10 that you lost? Or are you going to praise yourself and appreciate the fact that you gained 5 steps forward that you didn't have yesterday? It's all about perception. I've learned how to just appreciate 1 step forward. It ain't got to be 5. It ain't got to be 10. There are days when I just appreciate the fact that I took 1 step forward, and I think that that's important for us to come to the realization of, is the level of patience that we try to give other people. We have to first give it to ourselves. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? Anybody? Facebookers, have you got something that you want to share, a question that we can answer? Can they hear us on Facebook? Is that right? They can hear all that's going on. Good deal. Okay. Yeah. So give me some of your feedback. Let me know what you think. You guys are used to talking. There's some of you on here that I know you used to talk, and it's okay. Talk to us. Let us know. We're finishing up this series of You First, making sure that we are all on the same page. Sometimes we can go through our little 30 minutes of Live at 5, and so much information is shared, and we type our comments and losing what our thoughts are in the typing. If you type as slow as I do, y'all done gone on and I done completely forgot my train of thought and what I was responding to and all that stuff by the time I typed something in. So I wanted to do this because I didn't want to lose in transition the thoughts that you might have concerning this series of You First. I do want to appreciate y'all so much for talking with me every Sunday. I think it's important for us to grow together. We are trying to build a community, a tribe, where you don't have to walk this evolution by yourself. That's what I'm trying to do every Sunday. I want us all to come together and be able to share and make sure that we have this little group of people that we can call upon every week to just say, listen, this is our meeting time. How was your week? This is what we got going on. This is how I evolved. This is how I've made it better. And that's what we want to do. Denise and Benny, thank y'all so much. Any other comments or questions about You First? Because it's all been good to me. I really have learned so much with this series. I'm excited to see what next month's series is going to be, because I know that it's just going to keep us in this constant evolution of growing into the best version of ourselves. And that's what it's all about, in my opinion. Yeah. Do you want to say something, Denise?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that at the beginning, I think you may have touched on this about what you're trying to accomplish from what you do every Sunday at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so important for people to understand how it's going to impact their lives, or how it's going to bring growth to their life, or is it something that's going to involve in their lives. So that, at first I didn't understand it, didn't understand the purpose of what focus.
Strong focus and confident.
Exactly. And then I just kept listening. I just said, well, let me just keep getting on here at 5. Not because Keisha Grace is my friend, it's because I wanted to understand this myself. And so my life because like you said, most black people doesn't really entertain psychologists or psychiatrists or all of these kind of things like that. That stuff don't belong to us as one speak. But I don't believe that. But that's majority of people believe that.
Absolutely.
And I think you kind of hitting on a lot of that psychological help, along with emotional help, along with physical help. I think you're bringing in a lot of that stuff, and that's why I like to share your page. That's why I like to share our topics on Sunday. And I think that everybody that's on here should also share it, because no matter who we think we are or who somebody else may be going through stuff, they could really be helping them. They don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to just throw that out there and say, hey, I think we should share this and just continue to talk about it and say, hey, you got to go listen for yourself, because what I can gain from it's not for you, it's for me. And what you may gain from him, from the conversation, maybe something for you. I just know it's helping me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I totally.
I think you have to keep emphasizing that every Sunday, the purpose of what you're trying to do, because this is a small group, and I just don't know how to thank you. I really don't, because I think even though you're such a powerful person and your congregation is there behind you and everything like that, but right now we got small people on this group. I could just see a lot of. I could just vision. I don't know. God just saying, you just keep going.
Thank you.
You just keep going, because it's small right now, but I can feel it. I know it's going to be large. It's going to help so many people. I know it. I just know it's all my being. You may not see it right now, but it's vision. It's a visual that I can see, and that's why I want to keep holding on to it, because I want to be part of it. I want to be part of something big.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that is the goal, because realistically speaking, if it was left up to me, first of all, I would have never gotten on here if it was left up to me. And then secondly, I would not have stayed on here. But my purpose is to make us all better. Some of us are sleeping, don't even know we're sleeping, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I think that we need to get to a place where we are willing to entertain different perspectives. We are willing to open up to psychology and psychiatry and find that mental health is just as important as our spiritual health. In the Black community, I love my people, but in the Black community, if we can't fix it, we just want to say, well, God gonna fix it. God gonna take care of it. Well, if you aren't willing to recognize that there is an issue, you don't even know what you want God to take care of. So we still make sure that we are putting ourselves in a position that we can know ourselves. We have to know who we are. The triggers, the influencers, all of that stuff, we have to know. That's called being balanced. That's called being healthy. And that is my purpose, is to just help us be the best versions of ourselves. Okay. But thank you so much. Yeah, Benny.
And since I started the trend of speaking half every time to these stuff, it just wouldn't be right?
Yeah.
But seriously, I'm glad she said what she said, because I was kind of like holding some of that in, which I feel the same way. I personally appreciate you and what you do. I try to be here every live at 5. I think I missed a couple because I was out of town. I messaged you personally, was like, I hope I'm not on probation. I normally know this. But no, you have been a wealth of information for me, and just to kind of share with everyone else. I think I started getting on here about a year ago, probably around this time. To this day, I've tried to go back and figure out how S got in my group on Facebook. To this day, we had no mutual friends. No, I don't know if anyone else would. I don't know how it got in my whatever they call that, but I'm glad it did. But more than that, I do know what it was, because around this time last year, I had started reading and learning about the law of attraction. And so, and what that meant, and at first it was I was kind of put a wall up to it because, raised in certain conservative environments, there's certain things like, oh, anything that, doesn't come straight off the page as we know it of the holy writs, has to be of New Age and not of God. So, but there's so many biblical principles that I've learned that is the law of attraction. It is a biblical principle. And so I am convinced without a shadow of a doubt that this ministry, I will call it, was attracted to me as a demonstration of, because it fell right in line with what I was starting to learn. And when I tell you what you have put forth in this has fell right in line of my transition of life, my movement, my evolution of my life and things. So I personally thank you. I thank God. I thank Him for using you to do this. And like I said, I don't know how this happened, but I'm glad it did. It was meant to be.
I appreciate it. Thank you both so much for saying that and for sharing that. These were not paid announcements. I can assure you they were not paid announcements. So, but thank you guys so much. You guys don't understand. You're saying that I'm helping you, but what you're doing is helping me. Sometimes even the encourager needs to be encouraged. And this interaction that we have on Sunday afternoons, it grows me. It helps me see things from other perspectives. I think we can have blinders on that are so close that we don't get to see the full picture of what our life is showing us. So by doing this, it helps to open up my eyes, my perception, my perspective on a whole lot of things. So I should be thanking you guys. And Denise, you are absolutely right. This is going somewhere. I know it is. I am so confident. I am so confident that it is. I had the pleasure of speaking in Raleigh on Friday night at a breast cancer awareness fundraiser, and it was phenomenal. Just a few minutes of getting up talking, and I mean literally a few minutes. So many people came and said, this blew my mind. And I just spoke on SFC, strong, focused, and confident, and how when you can embrace that on a mental level, on a psychological level, it can literally change your life. And that's what it's about. Because think about it, the opposite of strong is weak. The opposite of focus is being distracted. The opposite of confident is being insecure. So if we can get rid of that stuff and embrace the fact that we have the ability to define who we are, and we are strong, we're focused, confident in our finances, in our relationship, in our health, in our spirituality, in our mental state, life is limitless. Life is completely limitless. So I'll shout it to the mountaintops, and I'll keep saying it until everybody gets it, that you really can be strong, focused, and confident, not weak, distracted, or insecure. That's what we're trying to do away with to make this world a better place. So I appreciate y'all so much. All right. Thank y'all. We'll try it again at the end of next month when we come back next Sunday with a brand new series. All right. So you guys stay tuned for what that new series is. You'll get a little memo or something out sometime this week. We're still trying to figure out what that is. All right. Appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. And those of you that are on Facebook and that you didn't chime in, thank you so much for still being a part and watching and listening. Always, we appreciate your comments and your questions. Go to sfcdefine.com, share this. Send it to somebody, because like Denise said, you may not be helped by it today, but I'm sure you've got a friend or family member that can learn from this and that can be helped. You can also subscribe to CoreyAGraves.com, and we're going to keep growing this, y'all. All right. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you next week.